for interactive modeling. So thinking about interactive modeling, it's really a strategy to help children be successful, and it's a key to their success. When we think about rules, this is the part that brings rules to life. So interactive modeling is something that we'll take a look at. It's very straightforward. The approach is just a very straightforward approach. And I want you to think about the role of people in a school. Like the role of everybody in the school, myself included. We have specific routines, skills that we want to have children know about. So in my role as principal, we had a whole school assembly. So as part of that whole school assembly, I needed them to know what were the routines of assembly behavior. Mrs. Decker in the office, she has the morning announcements with Mrs. Thomas. If we have learners come to the office to help with the morning announcements, they need to know how to use the microphone. Mr. John in the cafeteria, Mr. John, our custodian, he will have children help with the broom. But they need to know specifically what are the skills to use the broom. So all the roles that we play in the school, we help children know specific routines. In art, blending colors, you need to know specifically. Maybe sharpening a pencil is going to be different in your room than another room, but there's a routine that you want them to know. At the beginning of the year, children needed to learn how to dump their tray into the trash bin, and we had a specific routine, and it was a skill, how to learn how to do that. So thinking about that, I want you to think, what is it that you do when you introduce a simple routine or a skill to children? What are the steps? So this is a little bit of a partner chat here. So think about what are the steps when you introduce a skill or a routine to children, and just kind of turn to your partner, maybe the three. What do you do?
So you would first like give a direction, and then you would model it yourself, and then you would have like maybe model it with a student or model it with two students, so that the kids can connect with the other kids that were modeling it.
I agree. I also like to show them why not to do it another way.
Okay.
That way. Like for example, with painting, I teach them don't have a fish in your dish, which is when they go like this with the paintbrush because it splatters everywhere. And then I ask them, are we in music class? And of course they say no. So no drumsticks with the paintbrush because that also makes a big mess. I'm like, if we do that, we're gonna have to spend more time cleaning up than painting. So they kind of understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. So
Thanks for sharing about that. So what you're going to find is the RC, the responsive classroom way of looking at interactive modeling, what you've been doing and how the interactive modeling looks. And what I'll ask you to think about are the things that are on your page that you have in front of you, 39, and it's also the same as what we have on the screen. Again, I will say, it is a very simplistic way of looking at modeling, and it is a very straightforward way of looking at modeling. There are 7 steps, and it really is a key to success when we use these 7 steps. So if we think about the 7 steps, the first step is really saying what you're going to model and why, and that why part is very important. The next step is thinking about what is the mental image that you're really creating for the children, that they can, in their minds, see it. They can clearly envision it. You're creating that mental image. Key, children are the ones noticing. They're going to be the ones watching. They're the ones that are going to be telling. They're the ones noticing. There's gonna be opportunity for practice, and as they practice, they will build their expertise. And there's also feedback, and it's immediate feedback. Modeling is connected to the rules. And when it's connected to the rules, then those rules come to life. So now what we do when we have adults in a situation where we want to try and learn something, but I want you to also experience it as you were students, is you're going to use two brains at the same time. So you're going to have your brain as if you were children in a class and you're participating, and also you're going to have your brain as if you're the adult watching and thinking about what's happening, and kind of, oh yeah, there's step one. Oh, I see step two now. Ah, that's why that's being so effective. So you're using both those brains at the same time. When you're using your children's brain, we're not doing any misbehaviors in this children's brain. We're just going with the flow here of the interactive modeling so that you can really experience what it is, and then you can also, with your adult thinking, figure out what are the steps and see the steps. So what I'll direct you to is, first of all, knowing that sometimes this list that we have of the 7 steps, we're going to demonstrate it exactly as the 7 steps, but there are times where you might modify the 7 steps. In 4 and 5, you could have a class of older children that you really don't need to have several students model. Or you could have a class that you use many children as models before you have everyone do the practice. So those steps 4 and 5, they could be adjusted as needed for your class. So what we're using today is the hand signal. The hand signal for listening is what I'm going to model as the teacher and kind of show you what it looks like. And then as you're watching, you're thinking about what are the steps, how did it connect to the rules, and what really makes this effective. And as we do that, I'm going to start with someone giving the hand signal as if they're the teacher, just so that I can model it. And what I'll do is I'll pretend that I'm in a class with a partner right now, and we're working on writing together, and then the hand signal will go up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when you do it. So who would like to just stand up and do the hand signal for us? You want to do that? Okay, I'm going to get engaged over here, and then you'll do the hand signal. And as I do that, I want you to notice what I do. Notice what I do. Sometimes, and for right now, we'll let you sit down,
Okay.
because I want to do a little bit. Sometimes we have in our class the time when we need to all get together and we need to listen. And when we want to show that it's time to listen, we have a hand signal that we use to get everyone gathered and have everyone pay attention. And it's important that we have that signal, because in our rules, we have a rule that says we will listen to each other. So the hand signal helps us know that it's time for learning, and that there's some directions, or there's some important information, and that will help us in our learning. So today, we are going to see what that looks like, and we're going to have someone be the teacher. So I'm going to have you stand up. I'm going to have you watch and notice. I'm working on my story, and I'm going about each.
Got got your attention rather quick.
What did you notice? Thank you. What did you notice?
As soon as you saw it, your eyes went right to the person with the signal and you stopped what you were doing.
What else did you notice?
You put your pen down?
What else did you notice?
Your eyes went directly to her.
What else did you notice? What did my body do?
Your hands went down to
Your voice was off?
Mhm. Who could show us how to do that? All right. Pretend as you're.
I was cleaning.
What did you notice? What did you see this time?
When she stopped, she wasn't looking, but she saw that she stopped and sounded weirdly.
What else did you see?
They got quiet, didn't they?
Exactly. What else did you see?
Their hands on their
Mhm. Someone else. Who else will model that for us and show us? You pretend. Again, what did you see Alyssa do?
She looked at her and then she did the same thing. She realized it.
What else did you see Alyssa do?
She got quiet.
Mm-hmm. I think that you are all ready to try this. I do. I think you're all ready to try this because you have been saying exactly, you've been telling and saying what you're noticing. And I think you have it. So we are all going to practice it. So I want you to pretend right now that you are talking about your story and working with your partner, and then we're going to try it. Go ahead. To be learners, and you're ready to listen to your friends and learn from your friends, and you're ready to listen to the adults and learn from the adults. And we will be able to move from one thing to the next thing and just use all our minutes for learning. This is really exciting. Okay, now we're back and we've just completed the interactive modeling. As you watch that, I want you to think, in the beginning I said there were a couple things to watch for. What did you see as steps in the interactive modeling? First step was what? What happened first?
Give the skill you want them
And as part of when you say and state the skill, what's the other piece of that? The why. What was the next thing that happened? And then what? The children told what they noticed. And then what?
You asked one of us to do it.
And then what?
What did we notice again?
And then we did it with another. And then what was that last thing that we did?
We did it all together.
Yes. And then what did you hear me do?
You gave us compliment and so we started it.
That feedback is super, super important. Giving that feedback throughout the modeling when they're doing the practice, not throughout the modeling, but when they're doing the practice, Giving that feedback is super important. Did you hear me narrating what I was doing? I didn't do any of the narrating of what I was doing. So what do you think made that so effective?
I think by you not speaking while you're doing it, it's getting their attention better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also think having one of us do it
Mm-hmm.
as a student model helped too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of takes their attention on someone else, and
Mm-hmm.
that helps.
Mm-hmm. What else do you think makes that so effective?
Asking the students what they notice
Mm-hmm.
after each time it's been modeled.
Mm-hmm. There is such power in using interactive modeling. And sometimes showing and noticing is often more important than teacher talk. And that's one of the important pieces when we think about interactive modeling. The children noticing and really paying attention to the details will make this very powerful. Now, this is just a little bit of a touch of interactive modeling. I would direct you to a wonderful resource that's available. This is a resource through Responsive Classroom. This can be something that can help guide you in many ways of using interactive throughout the day, interactive modeling. In addition, there's going to be more time tomorrow that we will spend digging into interactive modeling. So more to come. This is just the beginning.